Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another video today. I just ate my lunch, and if you see anything in my mouth, it's just pieces of blueberry. How about that? Maybe I should have brushed my teeth first. What an unprofessional I am. Anyways, today we are talking about some recent pickups from ye old Goodwill. All of these were picked up at one of my local Goodwills I visit kind of frequently in Hazlitt. One of them came from the Goodwill down in Ocean. I'll let you try to figure out which. Let's see what I got. 1976, we get the soundtrack to the film Car Wash, Working at the Car Wash. Yeah, how about that? Decent movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I think I've only seen it once, actually. Kind of like an ensemble comedy, a day in the life kind of thing at the car wash. Richard Pryor, George Carlin in the film. Interesting thing about this album was that this Norman Whitfield put a band together called Rolls Royce. Get it? And he put that together and recorded all the music before they had even made the film. Maybe even before a lot of the screenplay was written. The screenplay was written by Joel Schumacher, who you may be familiar with. This was kind of early in his career. But they did that, and they played a lot of these songs while they were shooting the film. And they say, you know, when the music's playing in certain scenes of the film, you can see extras in the background kind of in beat to the songs or whatever, because they were recorded ahead of time, which was something they, I guess at the time, really didn't do. But it's kind of a cool soundtrack, you know, like a lot of R&B, funk kind of sounds. There's a bunch of instrumentals on here and some tracks. Obviously, the title track, Car Wash, which I'd be more than happy to sing for you one more time if you like. That was a big hit. I believe this band, Rolls Royce, went on, made a few more albums and to moderate success. A couple of the tracks on here I like are I Want to Get Next to You, Born to Love You, I'm Going Down, Yo Yo, and Keep On Keep It On. It's the 70s, y'all. There had to be a song called Keep On Keep It On there. Anyways, yeah, pretty interesting, cool little soundtrack here from Car Wash. 1979, we get Joe Jackson and his album, I'm the Man. This is the second album he released in 1979. His first, Look Sharp, and then this one. Both are amazing albums. You know, all I really knew about Joe Jackson up until a few years ago was his 80s hit, Steppin' Out. You know, and I didn't really think much of that song at all. And then I heard the title track from this album on a podcast, a music podcast, and it's really good. It was just kind of like this up-tempo kind of new wave, almost punkish kind of sound. And I think maybe 2 years ago, I picked up both of those CDs, Look Sharp and I'm the Man. I think I'm the Man. One of them I found in a Goodwill for like 99 cents down in Charleston. But both of those albums are spectacular. And I mean, I don't know how they did when they were released back in 1979. I think they did okay, but I mean, you listen to some of these songs on here and you think that this thing should have been like massive hits. He should have had multiple like top 40 hits from these two albums, because they're really so good. But found this at Goodwill, surprising, you know, like I don't usually have a lot of luck on vinyl, although we got some coming up. And just picking through, and it's just usually these big bins and just nothing but stuff you have no interest in, old, beat up, or just a lot of like, you know, whatever that kind of like loungy kind of music is, Perry Como and all that stuff. And then suddenly at the back of this big bin, I saw this one there, and it just really surprised me. You know, I think the vinyl at the Goodwills around here, maybe like $2, you know, if that. So great deal, and it's in really good condition. But this is, like I said, a fantastic album. Tracks on here that I really like are On Your Radio, Kinda Cute, It's Different for Girls, Don't Want to Be Like That, Get That Girl, Friday, and like I've probably mentioned already 16 times, the title track, I'm the Man. Not the greatest album cover, but yeah, really terrific album. If you're not familiar with these early Joe Jackson albums, I definitely highly recommend you giving them a chance if you like new wave, kind of punk, music, pop. I'm the One and Look Sharp is also really, really good. Check it out. 1965, we get the Charlie Brown Christmas album. I haven't listened to this. Obviously, I've seen this, classic holiday special numerous times in my life. I think it's harder to watch these days because I don't think it's on like network TV, and I don't know if there's like a deal with like just Apple TV with streaming it. Because I remember a friend of mine, she was saying she was having trouble watching this past Christmas, and it was really disappointing to her. So it's kind of a bummer though that they don't make some of these like classic holiday specials just available across the board for people to pick up. I'd hate to think these are like exclusive to one streaming service, but yeah, I have a very small collection of Christmas albums, and there's like maybe one more that I think I'd like to pick up. The Beach Boys one I think I would like to pick up, but saw this there and just decided to be a cool one to have. I'm not one to put on Christmas music when it's not Christmas time, so I'll save this and pop it in later this year when the holidays hit. But yeah, just felt like this would be a cool thing to have in my collection. 1961, we get Harry Belafonte and his album Jump Up Calypso. Jump Up Calypso. This is something that you probably would expect to see in Goodwill, Harry Belafonte Records. But it's in really good condition. I thought I would pick it up. Again, it's maybe $2. And what attracted me to this was I remember the song on here, Jump in the Line, which was in the end credits at the very end of Beetlejuice. And I always remember that. I always liked that song. I remember hearing it in that movie, seeing it in that movie, and really digging that song. And I remember when we were all illegally downloading music initially, I remember the first time I ever did that, Jump in the Line, was like, I had a list of songs I wanted to download, and that was one of them, and always loved that song since I heard it in Beetlejuice. And so saw this there and just, I don't know, just seemed like, it'd be kind of interesting to sort of say test drive one of his albums, see what the rest of it's like. And it's pretty cool, it's got kind of that calypso kind of big band, a little bit of folk maybe mixed in with it. But surprisingly, I thought this was a lot better than I expected. The New Sound America Loves Best, RCA Victor Records. But yeah, super talented dude, Harry Belafonte. And like I said, I like this a lot more than I thought. I thought maybe I'd put it in and that one song that I bought it for would be all that I was interested in. But there's a handful of songs on here I liked quite a bit. Sweetheart from Venezuela, Go Down Emmanuel Road, Going Down Jordan, Kingston Market, Angelina, and Gloria, which that is my other favorite besides Jump in the Line. Gloria is my other favorite tune on here. Really cool song. But yeah, interesting pickup. Speaking of 1962, more Harry Belafonte. This one is the Midnight Special. Kind of similar. So Jump Up Calypso I picked up because of that one song that was from a movie. Same thing here. I picked this one up for one song that was in a movie. Gotta Travel On was in a movie called something like The Devil, The Flesh. I don't remember what the title was. It's one of those kind of Last Man on Earth kind of movies. Not a bad movie, kind of interesting. But he plays the song and sings the song in that movie. And when I saw the movie, I liked that song a lot. And I think I had it digitally or whatever. But then saw this there at Goodwill and decided to grab it for that song. I like that other album, so I thought I maybe would like this one as well. This one's not calypso. There's more just like kind of, big band and like folky kind of music, maybe a little bit of R&B kind of mixed in. Yeah, pretty good album. I like this one as well. I'll show you the record because that's what you all are here for. There you go again on RCA. as the little sleeve falls off my lap. And this had the original insert, which is kind of interesting. They had this offer here. Surprising this is still intact, you know. Again, this one's in pretty good condition, but it had this little envelope here. I guess you could take off and slip $2 in and get a songbook for the album. Maybe it had lyrics and stuff like that. Kind of interesting that that survived after all these years. But some of the other tracks on here I like were the Midnight Special, Crawdad Song, and On Top of Old Smoky. Now, a lot of these titles are probably sounding familiar to you. These are all kind of like those traditional kind of tunes, cover tunes that he's doing, put his own spin on. And like, for instance, On Top of Old Smoky, I remember that song from like little kids albums that I had when I was a child. And this is not that. This sounds more like kind of like an adult kind of big band version. It's pretty good. The other interesting thing on here is on the Midnight Special, which is a really good song. This dude named Bob Dylan plays harmonica on it. And apparently he was supposed to be playing on more of this, but I guess Harry Belafonte maybe had a kind of reputation of being difficult in the sense that he was kind of, I guess, a perfectionist or whatever in the studio. And I guess that didn't sit well with Bob Dylan, and so he played on that one song, and then that was that. He left the sessions. But yeah, kind of interesting, but cool album. 1980, we get Genesis and their album Duke. I'm not a big Genesis fan. I own one Genesis CD, which is Invisible Touch, which I'm sure some of you might be smirking about. But that was one of the very first CDs I ever got. I got it for free when I bought my, when I got my CD player as a gift for Christmas back in the day in 1987. It came with an offer to pick up 3 free CDs. They had like a list of CDs you could pick from. And I had gotten that one. At the time, I really liked that album. I still like it. I haven't listened to it in ages. The only other, I think back in the day, I had that self-titled Genesis album on cassette. I don't have that anymore. And then maybe last year, I found, speaking of Goodwill, I found Abacab, a really nice copy of Abacab in Goodwill, and picked it up. But I've since gotten rid of that. I liked that record, but I didn't really feel like it was something I needed to hold on to. So I got rid of that. But saw this there, 99 cents. I've heard good things about this album and just decided to pick it up. It's pretty good, you know. I mean, I'm not familiar with a lot of Genesis catalog. I'm not familiar with really almost anything that they recorded with Peter Gabriel and Steve Hackett, like when they were like really a heavy prog band. This, I think, is maybe their second album after those guys aren't in the band anymore, and you're starting to hear them kind of bridge into more of that pop rock band that they became in the 80s and are probably more familiar for being. But it's pretty good, you know. I mean, there's definitely some prog-ish kind of stuff on here, and then some very kind of pop, top 40-ish kind of stuff on here, but it's pretty good. The tunes on here I liked were Behind the Lines, Misunderstanding, and Turn It On Again. Hey, I named like just top 40 stuff, right? But it's interesting, like, you know, like the album ends with this kind of like really long 10-minute something or other kind of sweet. And then the first 4 tracks, which Behind the Lines is a part of, you know, I remember when I first listened to this, those first 4 songs kind of blend together. I almost thought it was one song, because right after that, Misunderstanding came on, which I was familiar with. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I looked at the track listing. I was like, wait, 4 songs just went by? Because they all just kind of meld together. But yeah, pretty interesting. I definitely need to listen to this a few more times, though, for it to really sink in. 2002, speaking of Peter Gabriel, we have his album Up. And didn't have this one. I have quite a few Peter Gabriel CDs. I really got into him, like, you know, when So came out. When So hit, I really liked So. And after I had that album, I went out and started picking up a lot of his previous records on cassette. I had all those on cassette back in the day. I just remember really kind of digging that. And I was not like a big fan of Peter Gabriel, but I was really into those at that time, like 86, 87. I saw him live in 1987, I believe, on that So tour. And after that, I think his next record took a while to come out. And by the time that next record came out, I think it's Up, or not Up, this is Up, Us. I think I'd kind of lost interest, you know. I didn't pick that up. I have it now, but I bought it, you know, years and years later, probably from a Goodwill. I found it. So, you know, I'd kind of lost interest or moved on or whatever. So obviously by the time this came out, I was barely paying attention to him. You know, I remember hearing maybe the one single from here, the Barry Williams Show, which was okay. I listen to it now and it's, I don't know, it sounds like a little dated or something, but you know, I don't know what to think about this record. I've only listened to it like once or twice, and it hasn't really sunk in. There's a little bit of some techno-y kind of sounds on here. I don't know, this is 2002, so I don't know if at that time he's trying to kind of maybe, you know, he's being inspired by whatever was going on at the time in music at that point. But it's, you know, I don't know yet. There's a couple of songs on here that I thought were okay, including Growing Up, Sky Blue, No Way Out, I Grieve, and More Than This. No Way Out's kind of interesting because I really love the song Red Rain from So, and I don't know, there's something about that song that kind of reminded me of Red Rain a little bit. There's some elements of it kind of reminding me of that. And I Grieve was pretty good. I really kind of liked the second half of it, that like the tempo kind of picks up, and I really kind of got into it then. But yeah, interesting pickup. Again, similar to Genesis. I need to listen to this a couple more times before I really kind of make up my mind. Is any blueberry showing yet on my teeth? And finally, from 1982, we get Scandal's self-titled EP, debut EP. Patti Smythe, everybody remembers. I liked a handful of their songs. I really liked Patti Smythe's first solo record. I think it's called Never Enough. I really, really dug that. It's very like pop rocky, but I just remember buying that. I have it on CD. I had it on cassette back then, and I really liked it. But I never owned any Scandals album. I remembered when this came out, a friend of mine, Albert, had the cassette. I remember listening to it back then. It's just got 5 songs on it. But you know, it's that pop rock, new wave kind of top 40 stuff. You know, it's good. You know, I mean, I like it. I don't know what the deal was with this band, why they changed the name to Scandal featuring Patti Smythe on their next record, Warrior, which I guess is their last record, their only full-length album. And I really like the Warrior, that song. I remember in this Goodwill seeing it there one time and almost picking up, but I think it was really beat up. But I've never heard that album other than the Warrior and whatever the second single was from that album. But I think the second song was kind of like a ballad and didn't really interest me. But so I don't know how that is. But, you know, this is in really good condition, you know, really cheap. I just decided to pick it up. And, you know, the songs are good on here. The tracks that I like, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, Goodbye to You, Love's Got a Line on You, Win Some, Lose Some was pretty good as well. So that's everything I picked up at the Goodwill. Did you figure out which one I picked up from Ocean and not Hazlitt? Please let me know down below if you think you know. But thanks for checking in with me, and thanks for watching. And by all means, let me know what you think of this stuff. Let me know about the Genesis and Peter Gabriel, what you thinks what you thinks is, what you thinks are, what your thoughts are. And I'm going to shut up now and let the credits roll. See you later, y'all.